And welcome, fellow Joules, to the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. In news, I'm Chief Joule Dan, aka Smash O Mash, coming at you with today's weather stream. I'm in French fry mode, and we'll be talking about the weather and space, perhaps whatever you viewers have to come up with, and of course, demonic amulets. Don't leave out the demonic amulets, folks. They are so underrated. I mean, look, and don't get it confused with a genie's lamp, because the jinn are not demonic entities. Oh, hey there, Barbarian 1111. Thanks for leaving a comment. It almost seems like your name may be an alias. Now, today, I would like to apologize for my Joulish appearance. I know that I look like a Joule, and that is part of the reason why I am in French fry mode. Because if I come out of French fry mode, I look even more like a Joule. So let's just stay in French fry mode. I like that. Hi, I'm the living French fry and billboard who will be not advertising anything besides my own brands. So today we're going to have a slightly shorter stream than we usually do. We may display your comments on the screen, should you leave any. And of course you should. And we'll show you things like solar data and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So without further ado, here is one of the things that we do is can I make it high enough? I don't know. It's not gonna work. No. All right, that's okay. I don't care. I don't care. All right. This morning, I laughed very, very hard because I went running, and it was just funny because I was running with somebody who was walking, and the person who was walking thought I'd be walking, but I wasn't walking. I was running. And when I ran all the way out of sight, I think she got mad about it. Of course, I did come back, but I just kind of ran past and around the corner and completely out of sight behind the pine trees, as if I'd just left her behind to have her bones picked by the vultures. I thought it was funny. She didn't think it was that funny. I still think it's funny. Let us know what you think in the comments. So here's the closest star. And we do have some prominences. Oh, check it out. We got an angry sun. Grrr, 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 grrr. Chewbacca said that this is... Chewbacca said there'd be days like this. Chewbacca said there'd be days like this. Chewbacca said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this, Chewbacca said. What, you don't know what Chewbacca says? Learn Wookiee, you freaking hacks. My God. Go to Disney University and learn Wookiee, you jerks. God, only jerks watch our channel. Nobody knows Wookiee anymore. Gene Roddenberry called. He told nobody was learning Klingon anymore. Does anybody know anything? Chewbacca said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this. Chewbacca said. Anyway, that's the last like 12 hours. And we got the CME happening as we make the video. Dear God, get in your bunkers, folks. Get in your bunkers. Look, right in the last hour or so. Oh my God, look at this thing happening here. This is bunker-worthy material, folks. Get in your bunker now before it's too late. Ah! Now that I got that out of my system, coronal holes. All right, let's look at some more stellar data here. Stellar data from the most interesting star, the closest one, El Sol, aka Helios. It's not Joulish like me. It's a lot easier on the eyes than I am, and a lot easier on the legs too. Uh, I'm not so easy on the legs. Join me for a bike ride in 2026, especially a hilly one, and you'll find out, shall we say, the hard way. I don't know if we'll say, I'll say. Anyway, we did have a couple M-class events here happening every like about 8 hours there. Maybe every 9 hours an M-class flare. That's about what we've been seeing for the past day or so. The last M-class solar flare was at 2:42 Universal Time this morning. Let's take a look at it, shall we? 2:42. Where did it happen? Where was the flare? It was over there, 46:33, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers. Ooh, everything's loading fast now. I think Windows has patched its ability to use Chromium or something. Or maybe Chromium was patched. Here's that flare. It is a limb flare. It is sunspot 4633, once again acting up, even though the umbrae are out of sight. A perfect example of how we can see significant solar flares long after the sunspot has left the Earth's view. Of course, Stereo A still has a good view of that, but I'm not really too concerned about it because it's not really going to have very much of an effect on space weather. So let's just continue on here to look at the newest imagery on SDO, and things are pretty chill here. Let's get rid of 171. We've got a reduction in sunspot number since yesterday. I can tell just by looking. A perusal of the solar surface. Oh, wow, those sunspots are weak. Folks, these sunspots are weaker than a clock radio speaker. Don't credit me for that rhyme. That's the jizza of the Wu-Tang Clan. Yes. Yes. Weak fields and the unlikely chance of large solar flares is what we're seeing at the moment. It's a reduction in solar activity and an increase in cosmic ray flux over the past 20 days. Look at that. An increase in cosmic ray flux over the past 20 days, folks. Although less cosmic ray flux than we've had in 22 years. So there's that. Here's one of our producers. That's the X-ray output of Cygnus X3, massive X-ray binary located in the Milky Way galaxy, in the Cygnus arm. Next, how about some... Ooh, what do we have here? A new applet. Yay! I don't know what the heck that is. What do you got? What does this do? I don't know. It's not gonna help me or you. It opened a new window. I did not like it. It's gonna affect your ability to see the forecast. Ew. 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 What did you do, University of Reading? You dirty rat. Why you oughta. There's the latest forecast animation, except there's no way to download or view it using this browser. Oh well. Oh, doggone it. Copy video address. Let's see if it plays if I just open a tab. I'll bet it'll play if I just open a tab. Oh, it downloaded. That's good enough. We'll take it. There we go, folks. You see that? That's skill right there. Skill, talent, and training. There is no substitute for that. All right. I saw the word. I saw the word. The evilest company that's ever existed. Nothing's demanding when they're destroying the internet. I saw the word. It reminded me of turds. I saw the word. Blarge 2167 says, because I was worried from last summer. Why? Barbarian 1111 says, CRL 2688, Ornithos Swan. Okay. If that's one of your weird signals to your other signal recipients, then consider it transmitted. Barbarian 1111. Blarget 2167 says, we saw aurora all the way down in Maryland a couple times this year. Good to hear sun activity is slowing down. Why? There's no reason to be scared of the sun. Space weather isn't dangerous in any way. And if you're scared of space weather in Maryland, you shouldn't be. It's not dangerous. Barb, I don't know what Ugdan the new photos means, but thanks for the info. As far as new CMEs headed towards Earth, let's see if they modeled the one we looked at yesterday. And indeed they did. They modeled 3, but none of them are earthly directed. So moving right along, we'll close that out and look at some more data, like the real-time solar wind. And today's real-time solar wind brought to you by the ACE and Discover spacecraft. Out at Lagrange 1, we've got about 2.2 protons per cubic centimeter. A little bit of variation there between 2 and about 4 protons per cubic centimeter. That's a pretty nominal solar wind density. Solar wind velocity here also nominal at 366 kilometers per second. The total fields are 5 nanotesla with a BZ of -2. Not conducive to space weather. Just like yesterday, it's calm at Lagrange 1. This is where ACE and Discover orbit Lagrange 1. Discover shown in blue, ACE shown in green. Now, getting a little bit closer to Earth, here's Earth to about 12 Earth diameters, modeled by the Space Weather Modeling Framework. Croissant Earth, folks. Croissant Earth. There it is. I keep telling people Earth is croissant-shaped. Why don't they listen? Barb, I'm just supposed to know what CRL 2688 Ornithos Swan means? That's adorable. I claim to know space well. When did I say I know space well? Barb, you just make up stuff as you go, or is it backed up by anything in reality? Blarget 2167 says, we had a chance of an event worse than the Carrington event last year. Sorry if I seemed concerned. Yeah, but an event worse than the Carrington event isn't going to destroy civilization, like a lot of dummies on YouTube will claim. So that's why I tell people this, because they don't understand how backed up the grid is. They don't understand how strong the grid is. They don't understand how resistant the grid is to induced electricity. So it isn't that dangerous. So there's that. If we had a Carrington event that was identical to the Carrington event today, it would do some damage in some places. It would definitely cause all kinds of blackouts and brownouts all around the world. But modern power grids, many of them would have 0 transformers destroyed because there is circuitry and people monitoring the grids who shut them down before they burn up. Also, communication systems wouldn't be destroyed like they were in the Carrington event times, and it's all relatively well understood. It would cause all kinds of issues. It would cause a lot of radiation. It would cause fatal doses of radiation to people in space. It would cause very dangerous levels of radiation, possibly fatal to people taking solar flights at certain times of day. Even large flares can cause quite a bit of radiation of people in space. But for the most part, the Carrington event type thing isn't really that much of a danger. It's not going to destroy civilization. The sun is not going to destroy the world. The sun is not going to kill you. You shouldn't be frightened of the sun. It's the source of arguably all life and energy on the planet. So there's that. Sometimes I have to break this down because people misunderstand it, because they watch a lot of crap on YouTube. They look at a lot of ridiculous thumbnails by people that, quote, cover and quote space weather. And when I say cover, I mean cover with a bunch of crap. Anyway, there it goes. Magnetometers are smooth because there's no space weather going on. Here is our NOAA forecast, and NOAA's not forecasting any space weather because there's nothing new on the way beside the coronal hole high-speed stream, which we will get, looks like a Valentine's Day coronal hole high-speed stream. Hopefully it will be beefy and create mid-latitude aurorae, but I doubt it. Here's our radio flux data. We'll look at sunspot number next. Radio flux down to 129 solar flux units. 129 SFU. If you're wondering what a solar flux unit is, it is 10,000 Jansky of radio flux density. So that is a measure of radio flux density discovered in the late 1940s by some Canadians, and it's still measured. We all use the Canadian number to this day. Here is our sunspot number. This one's the King of Belgium's Royal Observatory. Sunspot number there reported as, what is that? 87 sunspots. 87 sunspots. Like I said, a reduction since yesterday. Any new CMEs on the way? Let's take a look at the GOES coronagraph. So are you talking about Cygnus? What do you mean of Cygnus? You mean the constellation? Do you mean a specific star? Like what black hole? There's a black hole. You mean Cygnus X1? Cygnus X1 is the first black hole ever sort of agreed to being a black hole. The one that Stephen Hawking and Carl Sagan had a bet about, that one. So if it's Cygnus X1, that is one of the X-ray sources. So I suspect it's probably X1, but I don't like. Every catalog has the things called a different thing. So when you say CRL 2688 Ornithos Swan, that could be anybody's catalog. Watching the pole move is fascinating, but I'm sure that won't be an issue till like the year 2300. Yeah, well, the thing is, it might not be an issue ever. And it might be an issue today. Like, the pole can suddenly shift. We don't fully understand the specifics. Even if we have the mechanism right for how Earth's magnetic field is generated, we don't know the specifics. So we can't forecast it. We have no way to forecast Earth's magnetic poles. That's the issue, okay? So even if we have the mechanism right, we still don't see the specific plumes of magmatic iron. Like, we can't see that stuff. We only use seismic waves to sort of see what's happening inside the Earth. It's the only means by which we currently have to have any clue. You know, P waves and S waves and different kinds of seismic waves. So anyway, yeah, we do not know fully. It's all theoretical. So, we know things about the density of the different layers. We know there's definitely a layer that's the inner core, a layer that's the outer core. The inner core, it might be solid, probably solid. The outer core might be liquid, probably liquid. The mantle, it's pretty complicated, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, we're just looking at this coronagraph here, and I don't think there are any new CMEs on the way, and if there aren't major ones. So let's look at stereo A and get some additional insight, facts. We'll look at some facts, and we'll dispel some fiction about how dangerous the sun is. The sun is your friend, folks. Make hay while it shines, and it does. It's not shutting down. It's not going berserk. It's not going to freaking kill you. The sun is fantastic, and that's why I have it all over our symbolism. Like, look at the sun is all over our symbolism. You see that? It's all over the place. All right. So anyway, yeah. So there's the view from stereo A, and we have a bunch of far side CME events there, a bunch of far side CMEs, and not really anything on the Earth side, which would be off to the left there from that view. So that is what's up. No new space weather headed toward Earth besides that coronal hole high-speed stream, and we'll show you the specifics of that. in just a moment. First, theplanetstoday.com. That's where things are located in the solar system. Keep in mind, it's not to scale. The solar system's real big, and that makes it look real small and is very deceptive to people. People think that the planets are like right next to each other, and that couldn't be further from factual. Proton flux ain't got no SEPs, that's solar energetic particles. Goes proton flux is at baseline. Again, some M-class flares here in the past couple of days. The past 24 hours, only one M-class event around 2:40 this morning. It was an M1.3. No big deal. Here's yesterday and today in terms of the heliospheric magnetism. And Earth is right in the middle of a North Pole-oriented sector, which means coronal hole high-speed stream is on the way, folks. We do see some motion over here. So this looks like growth or further opening of the North Pole coronal hole, or it could be a sunspot rising there. That would probably be in the southern hemisphere of the sun based on where that's located, but this is a two-dimensional image, so it's pretty hard to say for sure. The next imagery might elicit a response. So let's see what happens here. Here's the same set of data, but from the line of sight coronal hole plot. So it could be South Pole oriented coronal holes shrinking or migrating toward the pole, or it could be North Pole oriented coronal holes growing, which is what it is. This coronal hole is growing larger, folks. So now you've got something to be spooked of. Oh no, a larger coronal hole. Now keep in mind, these things really, they don't really need to grow very much because it is hard for us to see into a, this is a really distinct coronal hole here. So you're going to see a lot of alarmist nonsense about this. You're going to see a lot of catastrophists saying, oh no, this one's going to be the one that forecasts a tsunami or something somewhere, because they don't know what a forecast is or what forecasting is. But as these things rotate toward the Earth, they tend to look like they open up because the corona is very bumpy. There's a lot of stuff going like this. And when the stuff goes like this, you can see into the coronal hole because you're looking down the barrel of a coronal hole. So as the barrel points toward you, you get to see deeper into it. It doesn't necessarily mean it grew. It might have grown, but without the view from stereo B, and we can't get that because its visible instruments were destroyed in September of 2014, was it? 2015? But yeah, the sun's corona is very bumpy. So as these things rotate in, they often look like they are opening up when we're just getting more perspective into it. That coronal hole is so well established that it probably even shows up in 171 angstroms, the House favorite wavelength, which we'll come back to here in a moment. But there it is. You can see it kind of looking like, it actually does look like it is growing a little bit there. And that is just in the past day or so. So that is interesting. Keep in mind, what this means is that the magnetic field lines extend all the way out into space to Earth and beyond. They are oriented toward us, where these South Pole coronal holes, their field lines are oriented toward the sun. So this is an area where the corona is open, and instead of the magnetic field lines being all jumbled up like this and connected to the sun like a sunspot, they're all like this, open. And as particles orbit them, they blast out into space. That's the coronal hole high-speed stream that we talk about all the time. And we can expect the density wave of this to show up in about 36 hours. So about a day and a half, and we'll see an increase in solar wind density. Mark my words. We'll talk about it on the channel when it happens. So here is our magnetograms here, the El Teide ground-based solar observatory, located on Tenerife. A great place to do your mountain camp if you're a cyclist getting ready for the spring season. All right, what do we have? We have comments here while we have the magnetogram up here. It's pretty boring, so let's put the comments up while we show the magnetogram because there's really not a lot to show there. What do we have? Blarget 2167 says, I love it when the northern lights are purple. It's cool. The heat budget of the Earth is going up, not because of the sun, but because of human activity, and it sucks. I remember reading the NASA heat budget debrief. So, that brings up an interesting comment. So you're saying that humans are raising the heat budget of Earth. How? How are we doing that? I really want to know because I think you're wrong. And a lot of people do think that you're right. And I sort of know what you're going to say, but I still want to hear the response because I want to know how you think humans are capable of raising Earth's heat budget. I do not believe that it is the case. And I think there's plenty of physics out there that's plausible that is easy, that makes it easy to debunk this claim. But by all means, tell me how the heat budget of Earth is going up because of human activity. Yeah, seeing the magnetic flow in 3D is really cool. In fact, let's go back to that for a minute. Like this imagery is totally awesome. The line of sight coronal hole plot. Because it's showing you the solar B field, which is sort of, you can really see that coronal hole opening up right here at the end of this, right there, right in there. You see it kind of opening up a little bit. It could just be because it's rotating in, though, because again, keep in mind it's very bumpy. But yeah, that's great imagery. That's part of the NSO. So that's if you want to look this up on your own and follow this, this is, it's the NISP data products. The page title is, I think that's what it is, latest NISP data products. But yeah, you can get the magnetograms. You can look at the far side imagery. Like we don't even show most of the stuff on this. Some of it is now outdated as well. But yeah, it's pretty freaking sweet, right? But yeah, there's the L Tide magnetogram, and this is an inactive sun, so. This is what like 80 sunspots looks like. What is it? 87 sunspots, I think I said. That's 87 sunspots, and these are all pretty magnetically simple sunspots here, so the likelihood of large flares really not there. Here's a region that's degrading as well, so we're expecting to see a further dip in sunspots, or maybe a level sunspot number by tomorrow, but not expecting a big increase in sunspots yet. We don't see a bunch of active regions rising particularly. But let's look at filaments. We certainly have a massive one there. Did I name it? I can't even remember. And let's briefly show our viewers how to name solar filaments. So we like to name solar filaments after living humans because filaments are lively. So you just take the last image, do a screenshot or something like this, and then open up a nice Microsoft program like Snip and Sketch, and then point to a filament. This is the Eugene the Philosopher filament. And we're gonna name this filament. And I don't think it's going to cause an Earth-directed solar storm. What about you? But whether you think so or not, that's the filament that I want named. So I'll just go to Twitter, known by insane sycophantic cultists as X, and I'll just paste that in there, and then I'll say, name that filament at Smash-O-Mash. You're telling me Getty Lee doesn't have a freaking Twitter? What about Alex Lifeson? He doesn't have a Twitter either? Are you shitting me? There we go. It's the Getty Lee filament. How you like them apples? Don't like it? Too bad. Name the next one yourself over on Twitter. Just follow the hashtag name that filament. And tag me in the tweet so I see that you've named the filament. But even just putting the hashtag on it makes a difference because you can look at all the tweets that have the hashtag name that filament. America's favorite pastime. Name that filament. One of the features exclusive to the Smash News Network. least busted name in news. Is that stilted language? Do I sound too much like a YouTube bro? Bro, terribly sorry, bro. But listen, bro, the solution, bro, is to definitely bro buy Bitcoin, bro. Bit bro, coin, bro. Bit bro, coin, bro. All right, and let's talk demonic amulets. Now, I've got one here, and this is what my soul is contained in. If you would like to capture my soul or banish me from this plane of existence, all you have to do is take this away from me. And just gaining possession of it will be sufficient to control my will and destiny on this plane of existence. However, without it, you'll be powerless. Powerless. Yeah, my soul is contained inside of these bubbles. These are a metaphorical representation of my soul. Are you scared? Are you scared? My soul must be having thoughts about your fears. Ooh, it's getting warmer. Maybe my soul is warming up. Oh my God, my soul has turned off. To ban me from this plane of existence, you'll just have to smash my demonic amulet. I think you'll fail, but you're more than welcome to try. Good luck getting into French fry mode land, because you'll be French fried. All right, now that I've gotten that out of my system, the GOES electron flux it went back into warning levels, but it looks like the storm is subsiding. So we're seeing a subsiding of the electron storm, but not for very long, because there's a coronal hole high-speed stream on the way. So you'll have pretty bad GPS performance, but not as bad as yesterday. Like I said, it's subsiding. Here's a coupled thermosphere, ionosphere, plasmasphere electrodynamics model. I'll get to your comments here while this loads. The heat budget of the Earth is going up not because of the sun, but because... Oh, wait. Hey, guys. 21 flares in 24 hours. That's pretty active. What? What the hell are you talking about, dude? Snowed in again in Tasmania today. Summer. What? It snows in Tasmania in the summertime? That place is freaking crazy, dude. 21 flares in 24 hours. Are you serious? What? In what universe do you claim that happened, dude? Who allowed you to use a keyboard? Who said, here's a keyboard, go ahead, knock yourself out? Is it true that all of that was once in the atmosphere, but not at all the same time and expelled at this rate? I have no idea what that means. Name that filament Smash-O-Mash. Nope, I just already named it Geddy Lee. It's too late, even though you might have typed that before I named it. If you want to name filaments, you have to do it on Twitter, and you have to put up an image and then tag me and put up the hashtag name that filament. Nobody gets to name filaments in YouTube comments. You have to do it on Twitter. It is the only place where filaments get named. It's one of the few distinctions that are exclusive to Twitter, a broken propaganda platform full of nonsense and science misinformation and pathetic censorship, which no Elon Musk did not cure. Humans can't affect the planet a great deal. The volcanoes and Earth's core do that. This goes into detail about the climate forcing of human behavior. Okay, so are you saying carbon dioxide changes Earth's heat budget? Is that what you're stating? You're talking about human-induced global warming caused by carbon dioxide. Is that it? The radiative forcing of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere affects Earth's heat budget? I think that's what you're trying to say here. Okay, methane's worse. So we put methane in the atmosphere and we put CO2 in the atmosphere. Okay. Barbarian 1111, you don't want to be on Twitter. So what do you think of Elon Musk? Do you think Elon Musk rat is one, or do you think Elon Musk rat is a beneficial member of society? And do you think Elon Musk is beneficial or detrimental to humankind and civilization? Oh, okay. You think Elon is a douche. That is wise. That is wise. So you're saying carbon dioxide and methane are affecting Earth's heat budget. Is that what you're trying to say, Blarget 2167? I just want to make sure that I understand your premise before I even respond to it. You should read NASA report. So telling me to read a report is not an argument. They do a thorough job with lots of data. So you're saying the heat budget is affected by methane and carbon dioxide. If you've read the report, you should be able to answer this simple question. No? Anyway, the likelihood of large solar flares is kind of low today. So this is where you can expect bad GPS performance. And of course, people on the equator know that it's around the equator at noontime anyway. But here's the likelihood of radio performance. And again, we're not expecting large flares, so it's unlikely to see large flares. Expect radios, high frequency variety, to perform quite well. You'll be able to talk to your friends and foes across the oceans. Here's just layers of the ionosphere, because we're going to show this next, the ionosphere map. Fantastic. The Bureau of Meteorology Australia. They mapped the ionosphere. And there's the previous day at 2 hours per second. It's depicting megahertz of the F layer. So here is the F layer. In the daytime, it's the F2. And at nighttime, it's just the F layer. Note that they are at different altitudes at day and night. That's because the sun affects the puffiness of the excited ionosphere as infrared and ultraviolet light makes its way in there. This map will show you the location of the South Atlantic and the African anomalies. If you know where those are, more power to you. If you're not a regular viewer of the channel, press the subscribe button, lest thou soul be cast into an ever-deepening and darkening abyss of doo-doo diarrhea and doomsday prophecy nonsense. The world's not ending. Our finest days lie ahead, and doomsday prophets, they just lie. Whatever doomsday they're forecasting is fake news, okay? Fake news. Let me talk at the top of my face for a minute. Our finest days lie ahead, okay? Our finest days lie ahead, folks. And doomsday prophets, they just lie. They're a bunch of liars, okay? A bunch of liars. China is not gonna end the China. China and the sun are not gonna end civilization, okay? It's a very strong absorber of thermal infrared energy with wavelengths longer than 12 to 13 micrometers, which means that increasing concentrations of carbon dioxide partially, quote, close, and, quote, the atmospheric window. Okay, can you measure that effect? Because I'm just wondering, because the atmosphere has a lot of water vapor in it, and the actual infrared spectra of water vapor almost completely overlaps the infrared spectra of carbon dioxide. So I'm just wondering if you can measure how much that actually affects Earth's climate and heat budget. Because for the last 33 million years, Earth's climate has been an average of 12 degrees Celsius cooler than it is now. So if the planet gets warmer, that's a good thing for mankind. Less people will die because of the cold, and more food will be able to be grown. So I don't see why a warmer planet is a problem in the first place. So if carbon dioxide and methane are making the planet warmer, we should put more into the atmosphere. If we can do anything to prevent Earth from going back into snowball Earth phase, which would cause the entire northern hemisphere to have to migrate toward the equator, that would be bad. That would be bad. A colder planet would be bad, and a warmer planet would be better. So I don't understand the reasoning behind this concern about cold and warm, but I also don't believe that you can measure the effect of the methane, a trace gas, or the carbon dioxide, a really important trace gas that's necessary for photosynthesis. So it's a little more complicated than we just want the planet to be cooler. Why do we want the planet to be cooler? We don't want the planet to be cooler. That would be bad. If it gets cooler, it could run into a snowball Earth runaway ice phase because the albedo effect for the northern hemisphere is a positive feedback mechanism. Heating is a negative feedback mechanism because if we melt too much ice from Greenland, then we inject fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean, which shuts down the NAO, which causes the northern hemisphere to freeze due to the albedo effect. It's a little bit more complicated than, hey, let's get rid of the methane and CO2. The methane and CO2, we have trouble measuring how much their spectra actually leads to climate change because here's why. We can't forecast the weather beyond 1 week. How are we going to forecast the climate? The key to forecasting the climate is not methane and CO2. It's predicting what the water vapor will do because the water vapor is the real greenhouse gas that drives temperature and Earth's energy budget. So it's nitrogen and H2O. That's what the atmosphere is made of. This is why it stays warm when it's cloudy at night, because the real greenhouse gas on Earth is water vapor. Just saying. I don't think any geologist would agree with one thing that I said. Anyway, here's the anomaly map. This is anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. It will do a fine job of showing you, where the high frequency and low frequency anomalies are. It shows high frequency anomalies in blue and low frequency anomalies in red. So it'll show you where the South Atlantic anomaly is, which is up here by the west coast of South America, nearly on the equator. It'll show you where the African anomaly is, which is on the west equatorial coast of Africa. It's moved a lot. It was down here. Now it's up here. This one was down here, and now it's up here. So they've both moved thousands of miles, and we've covered it repeatedly on the channel. So there is that. Facts are fun. Facts are fun, especially when people don't know them. Because the best facts are the ones you don't know, folks. Remember, ignorance is the root of all knowledge. You can't possibly know a thing until you don't know the thing first. Right? That's a rhetorical question. I know I'm right. Anyway, here is our croissant Earth projected onto this fake Photoshop spherical template by NASA to trick you into thinking that the Earth is an oblate spheroid when everybody knows it's croissant shaped. And we'll get to that in a moment. Let's put your chats on the screen here because I see some more comments as we briefly show the Atlantic Ocean sunrise. And look, there's me. Oh wait, you can't see it. Never mind. Never mind. All right, so what do we have here? Let's see. They built a satellite just for this and studied. The problem is, the reason I bring this up, Blarjet 2167, I'm not trying to be a dick, but the reason I bring this up is because we can't measure the spectra of the carbon dioxide because the water vapor spectra almost completely encompasses the carbon dioxide spectra. So when you try to measure the one, you get bad signal integrity because there's a second signal. No part of the atmosphere is totally dry. So when you measure the carbon dioxide, the infrared spectra emitted by it is also emitted by all of the water vapor. So as the water vapor varies, we can't even measure what the effect of it is. That's my point. And whether you use a satellite or use ground-based instruments, it doesn't matter. You can't measure a thing that you don't have a clean signal for in the first place. So that's the point. I've been studying climate formally since the 1980s, and I've known about the NAO since the 1980s. And the thing is that the geologic record doesn't lie. The geologic record tells us things that seem to be lost on modern climate scientists. So it's a little more complex than you may think. I know the lamestream news is trying to simplify to the point where they think the average person can understand the inputs to the climate, but most meteorologists don't even know all the inputs to the climate. So it's a problem. We can't forecast the weather out 1 week. How are we going to forecast the climate? We can't forecast the weather out 1 week. How are we going to forecast the climate? It's not a thing. It's fiction. It's fraud. It's like Elon Musk's AGI and Scam Altman's data centers and Sundar Pichai's wizardry of software. Like, what a joke. What a joke. Except in the geologic record, we have the rates of CO2. So, why didn't the rates of CO2 control the Younger Dryas events? Oh, it's about the rate, the acceleration. Oh, okay. So it's not just the content of the chemicals in the atmosphere, it's about the rate of contents in the atmosphere. Is that how physics work? Is that how radiative forcing works? Let's don't get into a thermodynamics debate on this daily space weather video. And talk about the merch shop, by the way. Did you know that you can easily visit the merch shop just by typing in smashomash.redbubble.com? Yeah, it'll put it in order of best selling. And today's featured product is Universum Liberate, the Galactic Federation Special Forces. Maybe you've never known what the Galactic Federation Special Forces is, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you ought to not know what the Galactic Federation Special Forces is, because maybe you can't handle it. Could be that. I don't know. But in any case, I'll say to you right now something that you might find reckless. And if you find it reckless, definitely press unsub from the channel. Anyway, here's our best seller. And we invite you to support the Galactic Federation Special Forces by saying Universum Liberate. If you don't know what it means, I'll tell you right now. Here's what it means. It means free everybody. And if you're spooked that I'm going to free everybody, then I think that you're kind of a pussy. So there's that. Free everybody. And yeah, if that's a little too reckless for you, then too bad. Unsub the channel. Stop with the fear mongering, because not scared. Not scared. So free everybody. And if you think that's too reckless, go hide in a bunker. I'm sure you've got a lovely bunker. If you're scared of everything, you're probably already in a bunker. Every time the sun gets active or inactive, you go, oh, look out, he's got plasma around his hands. Very dangerous and spooky plasma. Oh, no, it's magic and he must be a wizard. We can't have everybody free. No, some people, our political enemies, must be censored. Our political enemies must be censored because censorship's effective, right? Censorship totally isn't the tool of the most demonic people that have ever existed on planet Earth. Certainly censorship is effective. So Universum Liberate, it's very controversial. Ooh, burn me at the stake, folks. Burn me at the stake. Free everybody. Speech at the very least. Universum Liberate. Let's take a look at our U.S. water vapor map. Don't make me tread on you by trying to silence me, because I'll make you regret it. Atmospheric river coming ashore once again. Look out, folks. Buzzword, buzzword. Call Mr. MBB333 and Stefan Burns and Maria Colvin Hill and Ben Davidson and all the other people who put up a bunch of Muppet-based nonsense about weather and space weather. Call them all, folks. Call them all. We got a buzzword. Oh my God, look the f out. It's an atmospheric river. Oh my God. Stop the presses. Get in your bunkers. Dig yourself a hole. Do something. Get in a kayak while wearing hiking boots and a hard hat because atmospheric river, folks, dear God, what will we do? I guess we'll make fun of fearmongers. I guess I'll just stick with that. It's fun. Yeah, we got some dry air here stretching across Pennsylvania, and it's pretty chill. We don't got that much moisture across the U.S. Let's take a look at the Doppler radar, and you're not going to see that much moisture here, but we do have some rain here, probably snow actually there north of St. Louis, and it looks like Chicago's going to have some more snowstorms headed its way here. Some more lake effect snow making its way across Pennsylvania, and I think it's going to snow here. I think it's going to snow. Going to get a little more snow here. Lake effect snow here, especially east of the Great Lakes. Thanks to everybody who's left comments. We've heard some great takes. So here is our NWS forecast for Lehigh Valley area. I like to do forecast for Breiningsville because that's where the velodrome is located. Yeah, thevelodrome.com, the Valley Preferred Cycling Center. A mecca of bicycle racing and riding with world-class riders since the 50s. Of course, the velodrome was opened in 1976. And we're doing the 50th anniversary celebration of the Valley Preferred Cycling Center this year on opening night. Anyway, here's the forecast for the Valley. Today, a high near 32. Tomorrow, a high near 34. That's Friday. And Saturday, heat wave continues with a high near 40. Most of the snow likely to be gone by midway next week. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Never allow you to see my location, windy.com. I don't need you to see my location. I know where I'm located. You fool! You fool! I will locate your soul into the river Styx, fool. Don't make me relocate your soul. All right, we have more comments here, so let me, all right, what do we have? The equator has the majority of humanity and already get heat bulb events which are unlivable. You're asking for mass migration. No, I'm not. I'm asking for a lack of mass migration because I don't want the northern hemisphere to slip into an ice age. Because the glacier where I'm located, so I'm located in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, and if you go about 10 miles north of where we are, you have the Blue Mountain, and the glacier ended at the Blue Mountain. There was a mile-high glacier there when the Younger Dryas events occurred. So that's what I don't want, a mile-high glacier in sight of my location. That would make for bad farming north of the Blue Mountain. There would be none for thousands of years, in fact, tens of thousands of years. The real danger is Earth going back into a glaciated state, not being warmer. People on the equator, they can move north and buy air conditioners all at the same time. Meanwhile, they can grow lots of plants, especially if they use this thing known as irrigation. It's kind of important. The desert is actually really fertile soil. It's just that you have to retain the water by putting bladders there. If you cultivate the desert, it turns green. See Israel for details. Thora says Earth sheds. Salt water holds heat better. The transparency at those wavelengths is like a window. The atmosphere leaves open for radiative cooling of the Earth's surface. The most important of these, quote, water vapor windows, Ann's quote, is for thermal infrared with wavelengths centered on about 10 micrometers. The maximum transparency occurs at 10 micrometers, but partial transparency occurs for wavelengths between about 8 and 14 micrometers. Hey, man, at least you understand some of the physics. That's more than most people that are going to comment on this stuff in the YouTube comments. So, yeah, thanks for dropping comments, Large at 2167. At least you have a clue about the physics on which you're commenting, which is rare on YouTube. So cheers. We are here to learn, Dan. Be kind, bro. Buy crypto, bro. Lol. Yeah. When I say buy Bitcoin, folks, I'm being facetious. I'm kidding. I'm being sarcastic. I do not believe in crypto. It's a speculative investment. I believe it exists. I don't believe it's a good investment. It's a liability. Why do we need 9 computers to perform any transaction or just check my balance? It's crypto. One of the dumbest things ever. It's like an NFT. A non-fungible token. I own some crypto. I own some Stellar Lumens, a tiny token investment. But yeah, it's just sitting there, and it's probably at like 18 cents per Stellar Lumen or something like that. So I won't even divulge what my cost average is, but it's higher than that. Geologic record doesn't account for the rate of expenditure of CO2 and methane by humans. I'm going to leave that alone. Don't be upset by Blarget. Be patient, bro. Have a good shift. What the hell are you talking about, Dirk? All right. Dan, get the shits with me quite often. Float down the creek in your wheelbarrow. It floats, lol. Congratulations on the 50th for the club. No, it's not the club's anniversary. It's the track's anniversary. Barb says, copied and pasted. Yes, copied and pasted. All right, so this video is just about to be over here. We are going to show a forecast for snow, since it is a continued concern. Let's briefly look at, how about wind accumulation, the northern Atlantic Ocean and the northern Pacific here. Quite dangerous sailing there in some cold waters. Quite dangerous sailing indeed. Heavy winds in the northern oceans. Anyway, lightning is not striking at the moment in the U.S. Here are our jet streams. We'll come back to Jetstream's first tropical tidbits. And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm going to vomit. So I don't know why that is. Sudden nausea. And it's definitely not because somebody took control of this, because here it is. Here it is. My crystal ball. I can hear the future if I shine the light into my ear. Yeah, I know. It doesn't work the way things work on the prime material plane of existence, where all you meat sacks live. Sorry, meat sacks. All right, so here is our GFS 72-hour snow forecast, and there it is. You are a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual one. All right, so anyway, here is the snow depth change forecast, and maybe we ain't going to get no snow. We might get some rain showers, actually, because it's going to be, I don't know. I think it might snow here, actually. But anyway, that's the GFS 72-hour forecast for snow accumulation. Let's head to... Oh, thanks for the health advice, Barbarian 1111. Eat. Oh, great idea. I would have never thought of that, being a pro athlete and everything. So here is our jet stream for the Western world, and here are our surface winds. I'm actually well fueled for the day, so I don't really need to eat. I wouldn't have brought it up if it was hunger I know what hunger feels like. So here is our surface winds of the eastern world. Shout out to our viewers from over there. Here are our jet streams. And I can see that cold air blowing out of the Southern Ocean, making Tassie snowy in the summer. Fascinating, Dirk, fascinating. Here is the jet stream scenario for the central world. Here is me smiling fondly upon your soul and not fondling you. Watch out, folks. Don't go out in public. You may be fingered by Elon Musk, and don't get fingered by Elon Musk unless it's for a job building stuff that he will later claim that he invented. So don't get fingered by Elon Musk unless it is a don't get fingered by Milan Crust. Milan Usk? What's that guy's name? Milan Crust. That guy. You know that guy. The one who tells lies constantly and people keep believing it for 10, just keep believing lie after lie after lie, and then propagating the lies on a social media platform that Milan Usk purchased. What a pile of shite. An absolute pile of shite. Here are the jet stream viewers from Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Here's the closest star. This is where we close things out. It's the most interesting star at which to gaze. And don't expect any big flares here because we ain't got no exciting sunspots. The likelihood of large flares coming from this setting sunspot group is actually going down over time. And this is YouTube. So I do things on YouTube that I would never do in like reality because YouTube creates an environment that is fucked up. So, it's all I can say is every one of you viewers out there, you should all create a monetized YouTube channel. If you think you know what it's like running a monetized YouTube channel, and you don't run a monetized YouTube channel and use Google AdSense and use all the YouTube software, video production software, and all the audio production software, and software. Some of it even fucking functions. It's fantastic. So, yeah. And this is why things often get done on YouTube that would never be done outside of YouTube. So there's that. If you see me egging people on social media forever, they keep asking you to monetize. Lol, no. Who keeps asking you to monetize? Do you even have 1,000 subscribers? You have to have 1,000 subscribers and a certain number of monthly views in order to monetize. So, like, anybody can probably buy a Google AdSense account and get to that point, but you would have to have a channel that has sufficient subscribers in order to monetize. So you've got a channel like that? I mean, I'll subscribe. You've got a channel with over 1,000 subscribers? Everybody should definitely have a channel. You should have a YouTube channel. There is something that you do that I and others want to hear about. Barb, you don't have 1,000 subscribers, Barb, so you're not going to be able to monetize. You have to get to 1,000 subscribers, and it has to be like subscribers. And like I said, there's a monthly view count. I think you got to get like 10,000 views a month or something. I don't know. We get a lot more than that. And we can advertise the hell out of your company. Like if you are running a small business, if you want to be on cycling jerseys, if you want to be on ads on our YouTube channel, we can sell you ad space. We can show up and get a certain number of views, like if you need 1,000 views, 10,000 views, whatever, we can guarantee that we can put out a commercial for you that will get you however many views you want to see. All right. So if you're running, especially if you're running a Lehigh Valley business, if you're one of our local viewers, we can still put you on cycling jerseys here. It's it's a pretty interesting time for advertisers, especially those of us who know what we're doing. As I am a sales and marketing behemoth, I've been a living billboard since 1999. That's when I became a pro mountain bike racer. Following my middle distance running career, I actually considered playing football. I'm a defensive back. You don't want to catch a pass in the open field if I'm nearby because you'll memorize my number for the rest of the day. It will be tattooed on your brain. And yeah, so there are a lot of features of me that you dudes definitely don't know about. And of course, I only reveal some of my features on the YouTubes because being a public figure is super dangerous and super hard. So anyway, yeah, I'm already subscribed to your channel, Barb. Uh, and so yeah, so cheers. Don't hesitate to reach out and send a DM anytime, any of you. We'll consider promoting any of your channels. And maybe we'll even feature you on this one. There are live stream videos that are coming where we'll put a Discord link in the chat and you'll be able to actually be on the channel and actually talk in real time and like debate like a regular human, without having to type anything. Invite link on the homepage at smashomash.com. And there's an ongoing conversation there all the time, usually about science and space-related stuff, but that is a good place and an extremely convenient place. So anyway, we'll close out with the 304 angstroms wavelength Lee solar filament. That would be this one right here. It is massive. Massive like the forearm muscles of Geddy Lee himself. Because he's a bassist. Anyway, yeah, we'll be doing live streams that have a link in the description on the live stream. So there's that. Let me get to any comments that I may have missed here, just so you know that they're on the screen. There you go. And look at that, we can even scroll now. That's fantastic. So thanks to everybody who has left a comment. Please don't forget to press the share button. Share and tag us on social media so that we have more engagement, because the engagement on social media is at a pathetically bad all-time low. It's really, really bad. Like, the social media realm incentive to be outside and be doing real things. Be doing real things, useful things, using computers to make us more efficient instead of less. I don't know how they started making us less efficient, but in 2026, that is certainly the name of the game, as the wizards of AI keep measuring the quality of a device and a software by engagement. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of the way that like Meta and Google and Twitter and Apple and Microsoft, they all measure how good their hardware and software is working through engagement? Engagement, that literally means the more of your time it wastes, the better it works. Do you use an Android device? Use a Microsoft device? Use an Apple device? Have you been noticing a lot of errant keystrokes? A lot of times you click a thing that you definitely didn't click. Like the screen knows you're going to click it and then it like moves and you click an ad instead of the actual target of your click. Have you noticed that? Yeah, it's fun, right? Electronic keyboards are completely broken. Voice to text was perfected in the late 90s. Why doesn't it work on your device? It's because your device talks to the internet instead of creating a local directory that learns your voice and your accent and your word preferences. These things should all be local, not cloud computed. So this is part of the reason why Scam Altman and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Sundar Pichai, they're out of gas. They think everything should be computed in the cloud, and that's idiotic. You have plenty of computing power in a deck of card sized phone. You don't need the cloud. You don't need the data centers. They don't need all of Earth's electricity, water, video cards, RAM, etc. It's a giant fucking scam. Apparently they pay you on Meta. What the hell are you talking about, dude? Meta doesn't pay us a red goddamn cent. Are you insane? Apparently they pay you on Meta. That is one of the most insane comments that I have ever freaking heard. Wow. I mean, you think Meta pays us? Meta has never paid us 1 red cent. All right? We are paid to put up videos on YouTube. We are paid for views on YouTube. We make a commission on sales at the Redbubble shop. And by the way, everything at the Redbubble shop is going to be going up in price sometime before spring. It could be today. As soon as I get around to it, it's on the list of priorities. Everything at that Redbubble shop is going to go up in price. We'll probably leave all the products because I've invented a new product, Gubmints. Yeah, Gubmints. They're just like unmute, you son of a bitch. They're just like Mentos, except a link's in the description to the Redbubble shop. I see the stream got cut off there, and that's because the pathetic broken software that I was just complaining about behaved pathetically and brokenly. So I'll just end this stream here. Thanks again for everybody who's tuned in. Thanks for all the comments. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Don't forget to press the share button. We are closing the out because this shit is busted. See you next time here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. And until next time, may that solar wind be at your back.